Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another cast of Beyond All Reason. We are on the map Ravaged Remake between ShoX and DSLR. I'm not sure, I should say the D, I think it's for his country, so LSR, I believe. I'm pretty new to the scene, I do not know all the players, but these are definitely the best ones, as they are in the top 16 right now, duking it out for a spot in the quarterfinals on this map, which is the first one for every best of 3 in this round. So we've seen it a lot. If you have followed the channel a bit, you have seen this yesterday and on YouTube. So we see both players starting on the back plateau as usual. DSLR, actually his commander was way out. Usually people start over here so they can like control the entrance, but choosing to be way back. And oh, it's because he did tidal. Sneaky tidal. It's the second time we see tidals on this map, which is a great option early game, as the tidal is fixed amount of energy, which is great because the wind is arguably amazing on this map too. And we see ShoX going for wind himself, because 5 minimum wind speed is very nice. Play that intro I made, Pontus. Yeah, probably, but I don't know how to do that yet on OBS. I will do that for the next time. It's something I do for YouTube only in the editing software. But yeah, I'll definitely look into it. Thank you. First grunt for ShoX coming out. He did 2 grunts before construction workers, so pretty standard, not very greedy. And we see LSR doing the same. No, only 1 grunt just to control the ramp up to his base. And yeah, tidal into wind, logical. On this map, wind is not very risky with a minimum of 5. You're never gonna... I mean, 5 is not gonna be great, of course, but I mean, it's more than enough to run your economy. And 15 is amazing compared to the costs. Yeah, LSR slowly expanding, just finishing up his main base. ShoX already moving out, gonna let a construction worker probably work on that mechs. Not yet. And we see both players taking it easy for now. But ShoX, yeah, trying to already prod, see if LSR is moving out with a grunt. It's a map, Ravage Remake is a map we usually see players either go straight for the middle, as we see ShoX seem to do, before your back mixes here, which is a greedier play, of course, but it does give you more map control. I personally quite like it. I think it's a great move, getting map control and more economy. Of course, it's way riskier, because if the opponent is ready to push, you can lose those juicy mixes here in the middle really fast. But ShoX gonna put up a beautiful radar here, which, interestingly enough, he put it on top because then it sees all over here, which is going to be very important later. He doesn't want LSR to be able to sneak anything up there or start taking those mixes without him knowing. So great positioning on his radar here, understanding how it works. I'm going to see the first skirmish. Yeah, both grunts. I didn't touch upon this, but both players playing Cortex, which is right now the most common we've seen, because of the grunts, because of the range advantage they have over pawns, their Armada counterpart. It makes for, I guess, mirror matchup, which you might find a bit more boring, and I tend to agree, but I am a Cortex lover, so I honestly don't mind that much. Cortex forever, guys. Armada, weak units. I want my units to tank all the shots. And we see both players actually going for the middle. And yeah, only just sending a slow construction worker in the back to get that medal. And yeah, ShoX setting up a front line here with laser towers is going to be more than enough against a few grunts. And LSR gonna do the same on the opposite side. But ShoX, he's a bit earlier than his opponent. And yeah, LSR trying to sneak by, but the radar catching him. Yeah, catching the movement way ahead. So he caught that easily. And yeah, a few grunts gonna push up here. Maybe contest? No, he needs to back off. Yeah, too late. He could have contested if it was a bit earlier, before that tower was up and running. But yeah, they're doing so much at the same time, it's hard to keep track. If you play bar, you know what I mean. Especially if you play 1v1s, the most unforgiving format. I mean, when you play 8 versus 8, somebody can always bail you out, almost. So a mistake doesn't mean the end, but here in a 1v1, one mistake, your commander's dead, and then it's over. Just like that, so you need to be very careful. Especially on this map where there's a lot of ways people can get around you and just sneak past and flank you, so you have to be careful. We have seen commanders sniped on this map before in the tournament, where the other player should have won, but just the gambit of going all out for the commander worked out. And actually no defenses here for ShoX and LSR. A single grunt managing to just wreak havoc to his economy. He's not going to be happy with that. And actually we see thugs already. The transition very early from LSR, who's not willing to let things lie. He doesn't want ShoX to set up any front lines. He's going to contest everything right off the bat with ShoX on the right. It's only grunts though. Only grunts, so not going to be enough to push through. He wanted to contest this area because he knows he's taking his. He knows the LSR is probably on a similar timing to take those mixes, and he doesn't want to let it happen. Especially now that he lost the middle. It's going to be a huge advantage for LSR right now, who has map control. He has the radar, which will cover, actually, interestingly enough, even here, meaning even way before the units arrive, he's gonna know about it. So great radar placement, way more greedy than ShoX, who put it behind here. He could have put it here instead, as LSR did, but he didn't. Instead, he just put another one up here, so he's gonna get forewarning when anything comes by here. Of course, he's gonna see it way ahead of time. But yeah, LSR, great map control. He has only four thugs against 5, 6, 7. So yeah, reinforcements gonna be a huge deal. ShoX complaining that he's very bad at this map apparently. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he's unsure what he did wrong, but LSR revealing the secret of the titles for the early game, meaning he had a constant flow of very good energy source. The title way better at 21 than Solar's, half the cost and does more energy at 21 versus 20. So yeah, good little trick if you didn't know. You can also seen them. Somebody used titles over here, so if you ever play this map, no, you can put some titles down there, which yeah, and players something only players of VAR do. Discussing the weather doesn't happen in any other strategy game. And we see ShoX actually trying to push back LSR here. He wants control of the middle back, and it's critical. It's actually very critical he gets that. And still, it hasn't expanded here, while LSR finally doing it. Getting that construction worker sneakily working on those mixes. And yeah, 3 towers. He could push through with the thugs, honestly, but he doesn't want to risk it. He knows he's behind. He doesn't want, and he sees a huge run by. Yeah, he needs to react, but the thugs way too slow. Is he gonna? Yeah, he's not even gonna try to catch them. He knows this is too little, too late. He is, however, gonna cut off the retreat, I think. And where's the thugs going? Yeah, he needs to defend his base. Where's he going? Oh no, his control groups are all messed up. He needs to go home with those. It's a bit late. Oh, that's gonna cost him a lot. That's gonna cost him a whole lot. And instead he's gonna counterattack, which is the best move he can do, being late as he is. And his thugs should be able to enough to clean everything out, but he's taking a lot of damage back home. This is going from bad to worse right now for ShoX, who is definitely behind in this game. LSR actually losing a mix in the middle, and ShoX not confident enough to actually push through. He had superior numbers, could have easily taken back control of the middle, but instead he thinks this side will be weaker, and he's right, there's nothing there. But he sees the thugs, he doesn't want to flanking damage doubles the damage you take, so very, very big deal. You do not want that to happen. So instead he's going to take a frontal assault with no laser tower shooting him from the side, getting the flank damage for his opponent. While, yeah, great micro from LSR, actually multitasking, going back on the left side while he defends the right. He's getting pushed back, but he still deals damage while not taking any economical damage himself, which is what you want, right? So ShoX gonna prod and push. Is that a radar? Is he putting up a radar right here, or is he gonna be turned now? abandons the idea, sees probably the thugs, does not think it's a good idea anymore. And yeah, he could push through earlier here. And he is finally doing that, but LSR, he's had so much time to stack thugs, and yeah, now he can actually push him back. ShoX forced back yet again, and he still hasn't secured these, which would put him far behind. And we see LSR, he has this up, he has the middle, well the middle is down, but he's actually working right now and putting it back up. And he has the right side, so huge economical advantage. And ShoX, he knows he needs to do something, so he's gonna try, he's gonna push through. His commander is very close to the front line, he knows he needs everything he can get. He's gonna repair while they are fighting, trying to keep those thugs alive. They can't take a beating, so repairing is very efficient on them. Ah, but there's just too many. There's just too many. Is he gonna go for flank? It seems that way. LSR gonna flank ShoX last attempt, gonna box him in, and if he manages that, it's gonna be the end. And ShoX commander in a really risky position, but understandable. He doesn't have a choice. He needs to get something done. I'm actually surprised to see LSR's commander so close to the front line. It's very risky. If ShoX somehow manages to snipe him, the game is over. So I would honestly keep him back, especially since they have grave robbers to already repair. But LSR's pushing. He wants to deny all of the reclaim from the fighting, and he wants to show ShoX how hopeless the situation is. But ShoX willing to fight back, but forced to back off with his commander. Oh, but it's not enough. He's gonna get wiped here. And he recognizes this is GG, this is the end. He's gonna go forward with his commander. Some desperate D-guns, but yeah, it's not gonna be enough. And he is gonna get killed right here. And the game will be over. GG's called. LSR will take game number 1 in this best of 3. Let's see just the income. And we can see small advantage here, and then bigger and bigger advantage as the game goes on. LSR doing a great job of choking out ShoX economy. So we're gonna go straight ahead to game 2 and see if ShoX can bring this back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another cast of Beyond All Reason. The second match between ShoX and LSR here on Death Valley, a map chosen by ShoX because he lost the last game. And this is a best of 3, so game 2 he needs to bring it back in this game. Death Valley, actually a map you might have seen if you did the tutorial, the first scenario where you actually learn the game, and yeah, very interesting map actually. We see the metal is 1.9. Wind is actually not that great, I believe, 4 to 14. It's decent. We see ShoX opting for wind. There's title is not great, 10 is actually kind of trash. Because titles are about twice as expensive as wind, but it is constant, so I guess that's nice. And both commanders still on Cortex, I believe. Yeah, still on Cortex, both of them. LSR going for the bot lab, and ShoX doing the same. Yeah, standard openings. They're gonna go for a few grunts, a construction worker, try to expand. But you can do some sneaky moves on this map with hovercraft actually, or amphibious units, just to go through the water here and take your opponent by surprise. Of course, these bots are used here because they can actually traverse here. Vehicles can traverse in this second lane. I do not think they can go through here, but here they can, but they're a lot slower than bots at it. So bots have a huge advantage on this map because of their mobility, basically. And yeah, ShoX still, he's seeing the wind. The wind is up. He's just loving it. Just doing full wind. Is LSR doing the same? Yeah. No, he's actually adding at least one solar, taking it easy. And yeah, we see the first grunt. We see a construction worker. Very standard openings. I believe ShoX did the same. Yeah, 2 grunts. Actually 3 grunts into... No, 4! 5! Wow, he really wants map control. That's already 6 grunts actually before a construction worker. And he's doing another one. I'm surprised actually. He's going for such an aggressive opening. But he's gonna be a bit later with his expansion, meaning if he doesn't get anything done with this, he's already at a slight disadvantage. Of course, it's very little, but if he does manage to snipe a mech or 2, it's more than enough to make up for it, so we'll see how that goes. LSR continuing with wind, already 2 construction workers out, so he's gonna get his economy running a bit ahead of ShoX, who, yeah, he's planning ahead for the future. That beautiful wind turbine line. all done it, we've all seen it. Is it spaced 1 or 0? I believe that's 1 spacing, meaning it's gonna be rather dangerous with chain reactions, but 1 spacing, 0 spacing in the line isn't too dangerous. If you start doing a grid, all of your wind turbine will implode and everything will die, so don't do that. I myself like to do lines, but I usually have at least 1 space between them, just in case I don't want to lose everything too easily to my opponent. We see ShoX, yeah, being very active on this map yet again. LSR having more construction workers, but actually he has to defend them. No, he has barely enough to actually hold this, but defender's advantage is gonna be a huge deal here actually. So yeah, ShoX recognizing he's gonna lose everything, all of the map control and the pressure he has if he pushes for it. So just gonna keep them around, threaten, and see if he can fish out a mistake from his opponent. Of course he has a few grunts just to safeguard his own base, doesn't want the same happening. But as I said, with bots you can easily go around here and do a sneaky, but so far none of the players has opted for that option. So we'll see if that comes into play later. Yeah, both players just pumping out those grunts, sneaking in a construction worker when they feel confident enough they can afford it. And yeah, ShoX trying to be annoying, but honestly it's 7 against 6 I believe. Yeah, 7 against 6. It's the same units, so he knows he can't take the fight. It's never gonna work, and yeah, he's simply gonna run away to the mountains actually. So yeah, getting all the way out of his base. But he's probably going to hold there, especially with reinforcement coming, to keep the pressure up on his opponent. He does not want LSR to get his economy running for free. LSR actually, yeah, doing a great job of defending the middle. At least the laser towers are enough for the early game. A few thugs will be enough to push through though, so he will have to be careful, of course. And gonna plop down that beautiful radar, gonna see everything, and a huge fight. LSR not paying enough attention, didn't see the reinforcements, and getting caught completely off guard here. That's actually a huge amount of reclaim, isn't it? No, okay, yeah, grunts don't give much, but it looks impressive with all the wrecks. Actually, a lot of them can be resurrected, so 3 units for anybody with a grave robber. We'll see if any of the players decide to do that. We haven't seen any grave robbers just yet. Both players just pumping out those construction workers and grunts right now, duking it out on the top part. And LSR honestly doesn't mind too much, I believe, because his construction workers have been busy building, so it's not like he's losing building time on these mexes just yet. But it will be important that he clears out ShoX's push on the top there soon, because he will want to take them very soon. I believe actually his commander is just about to do just that. Yeah, he wants to take this, so he will need to push ShoX out. ShoX recognizing there might be a sneaky possible here. The laser tower barely able to hit, so it's only gonna get 1, maybe 2. Yeah, but not the 3rd. Yeah, no, those grunts are gonna be able to go through, but yeah, defender's advantage is gonna be enough reinforcements. Only gonna get 1 mex, which isn't the end of the world. It's annoying for sure, but easily rebuilt. He has a construction worker right by, no biggie. He's gonna get that up and running straight up. And yeah, both players slowly expanding. ShoX being definitely more annoying than LSR about it, but LSR actually has more income than ShoX right now because of these 3 mexes, but he's gonna lose them. He's out of position, caught out of position, and yeah, ShoX gonna use that. To be annoying yet again with his grunts. These grunts honestly paying off. He's destroyed what, a few mexes already, killed a few grunts, more than he's invested definitely, so in metal worth, and he's gonna try and push in the middle, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think this is a great idea. There's enough defenses, he recognizes it. I should pull out. Yeah, pulling out. Yeah, that laser tower devastating against grunts in the early game. You do not want to use grunts to push through the laser tower unless of course you have overwhelming numbers, but that was not the case here. And yeah, exactly, we see the switch to thugs, who on the other hand will easily push through those laser towers even in few numbers. So LSR might not have noticed, he might not know that the big thugs are coming, so he's actually in danger. As soon as a few of the thugs group up, he will need to back off, or at least have a lot of reinforcements here. Those puny towers are not going to be enough. There's 4 of them, but still the thugs are menacing in the early game. And we see a few grave robbers. He's gonna try and resurrect, but LSR finally pushing this front back, having none of that. Oof, 2 grave robber. That hurts actually in the beginning of the game like this. That's 200 metal. That's not what you want to see, especially when they get their value paid for so early in the game. Just a few resurrects and you have your value back, right? But instead he just lost them straight up. And I'm surprised ShoX is making a front line here instead of pushing. I thought with the amount of thugs he's producing, he's getting ready to pounce, but instead he decides to invest a bit in laser towers. Maybe is it because he's deciding to drop this side completely to LSR? It seems that way. So he's just gonna use towers to secure his flanks. But the tower is not up, so he needs to defend them while he builds. Yeah, I don't think the grunts are going to be able to do much here. ShoX is aware of this run by, so yeah, he's not going to let it happen. And this thugs should be redirected. No, he doesn't even need to. He knows he has the advantage here. He has his thugs nearby, no real danger. But LSR expanding like a madman on the top side compared to ShoX finally taking these 3 and expanding out. But on the other hand, ShoX is completely uncontested on his side. Not one run by has gone through from LSR, meaning he hasn't lost any resources. Maybe his mind a bit less at one point, but he hasn't lost much. Only a few grunts on the top side, and honestly, the grunts are so cheap. Doesn't matter. 36 metal is nothing. It's almost what they get per second, meaning it's just a few seconds of metal, so who cares? Meanwhile, yeah, the critical mass of thugs seems to be going on in the middle, and I believe we're about to see ShoX push through. Oof, the grunts. Yeah, running away. And we see actually Lasher missile truck. Great range, great harass for the front line. And a switch to brutes from LSR. Completely missed when he built the vehicle plant instead. And he even reclaimed his bot lab, meaning he has no more access to grave robbers, which is something I do not like to do, but I understand the urgency of getting that metal back as soon as possible. And vehicles are actually going to be a big deal here, because they are a lot stronger than the thugs. At least the brutes are. I mean, DPS wise they're kind of the same, range wise also, but thugs, brutes a lot more HP. They're going to tank those thugs easily. We see a few shots landing, but they shrugging it off. They don't care that much. And yeah, LSR finally maybe setting up his own run by trying to harass his opponent after so long, and yeah, just desperately trying to get all of the metal he can. And in the middle, kiting with the Lasher trucks, trying to poke, but he's gonna lose both of them. That hurts a bit. Not what you want to see, especially when it feels like LSR is a bit behind units wise. Of course, he is picking up speed in the eco department, as you can see to the top right, 38 to 33 income. Not a huge advantage, honestly. So pushing through with his medium tanks, not going to be enough. Actually, ShoX producing his medium tanks off his own, producing 200. That's ambitious, but he doesn't want to use the repeat command. I can understand why. But he, on the other hand, kept his bot lab, meaning he can have reclaim bots. And they run by, yeah, not going to be easily defended with 2 tanks while he's pushing with his army of thugs, which is very threatening right now. The amount of laser tower is not enough. The amount of tanks is getting there, but honestly it's dangerous. And we see another, yeah, I was going to say another stare down at the top, but I thought this would be cleaned up way faster. But actually LSR being very annoying with his tanks, not going to get any economical damage, so no big deal. A bit of micro only. And wait a minute, be careful with your grave robbers, you do not want to lose them. Precious precision unit. And another run by from ShoX, but 2 laser towers will shut it down. Enough for the grunts. And we see yet another, what was it, brute getting picked up for free here. Maybe he will even be able to resurrect it. We'll see if that happens. LSR, I don't know, I think it's a bit, he shouldn't pull back. I think it was great that he was over here. He could have been annoying on the right side, but now he's going to lose that map control. He only has 1 tank there, and he's going back home. He's feeling too threatened. He's afraid. He's afraid of ShoX pushing to the middle. I can understand why. But LSR actually in a great position now. Not contested on the top side, meaning he is getting a huge economical advantage, slowly building. And a huge push in the middle from LSR. The medium tanks trying to run away from the repositioning thugs, who are trying to slowly do a big concave on his medium tanks. And yeah, just gonna run home. Probably gonna get some repairs going, get those big boys up. But yeah, ShoX, a great job with the defensive laser towers, completely denying the flank from the grunts. But the tank's gonna easily shred those turrets and negate that advantage. And now he's gonna probably go around. No, he's not even trying to wrap around. Yeah, he is gonna try and flank. Flanking in this game, very important if you're a new player. And yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go left with his tanks to flank harder, but the grunts fast enough to wrap around slowly. And off the grunts, doing a great work here, getting the flank bonus. As you can see on some units from both sides, gonna get double damage for all of his units on those thugs, gonna take them down very fast. Great battle from here. LSR recognizing he had the advantage and pushing, and he's continuing to push. Is he gonna take the game here? Oh, but I don't think so. A defender's advantage, and ShoX ShoX with some light banter at his opponent, but LSR not giving up, fighting the fight. ShoX honestly a bit rude, and LSR fighting back, but this is huge. He might even get into his base. Might actually even get to his base, but the commander pulled out from ShoX. It's gonna be dangerous. LSR is actually in a LSR in a great position, and ShoX, is he gonna tap out? A bit salty from the death, yeah. Self-destruct on the commander, and yeah, a bit salty there from ShoX, but we've all been there. We all know how it is to lose. Never a pleasant feeling. And LSR, great show from him. Very patient strategy from him. Just not worried about the raiding on the top side in the beginning of the game. Just recognizing he can't take those mexes anyway. He doesn't need to push it out. And it's taking a lot of ShoX attention to multitask like that. And we saw how late actually ShoX was on his expansion to the right side. He barely took anything, while LSR had all of this going for a long time, meaning he had a huge economical advantage. So despite the contain, I mean, LSR had a better eco. So yeah, I guess if ShoX sees the replay and analyzes, he'll recognize that the contain wasn't that useful actually in the early game, because he was still expanding here, he was still taking those mixes over here, so he didn't need to contest this area just yet. And yeah, great from LSR to recognize that, honestly. And he will win this best of 3 2-0 quite convincingly. And yeah, great game from him.